vibrating at night, and it stopped in the morning. This is a DEP report. Okay? There's charts and charts. It shows three pages of wellheads where he inspected. There are valves where the casing leaks. There are valves where the annulus leaks. And the one that was most important to Mary Ellen is the last one on the list, where he says there was fresh water injection in August of 2010. You remember what I said about August? Mary Ellen's 4 trips to the emergency room. They have to move these chemicals underground with water, wastewater. This wastewater was coming into my home because the original house had a hand-dug well. The corner of my home was 40 feet deep. It had a hand pump on it, okay? We took the pump off. We did not cap off the wellhead. Didn't have, we didn't have any reason to. What we did was just put a piece of plywood and a carpet over the top of it, and then we renovated a porch. So that this wellhead basically is contained in my home, okay? At least under the roof of my home, okay? That is where the methane smell was coming from. They were moving this gas with methane and chemicals, and that is where Mary Ellen was getting the methane contamination. Okay, Columbia Gas left, like I said, the end, I think September the 25th. I remember, I'm still making phone calls to the National Response Center, to the Department of Environmental Protection, and both at the state and the federal level. Okay, I get a long list of numbers from the eastern region of the gas and oil program from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. These are the guaranteed numbers that I'm supposed to call. I got this notice in the mail on exactly the same day that I got it in the mail. I call the very first number, 800 number, which is the number they're telling me to call, and it's the wrong number. I'm not supposed to be calling that number. I'm supposed to be calling yet another number. On my wall, I have placed a list of all the numbers, all the DEP, and all the engineers and geologists that I have contacted and talked to since April of 2010. Okay, we are now into April of 2011. Okay, my entire kitchen wall is covered with names and phone numbers and contacts. Okay. I haven't hired an attorney. The lawsuit in July in Johnstown, I did not attend, okay? Not because I'm arrogant, obviously not. Don't have an arrogant bone in my body. I'm the friendliest, kindliest person that you'd ever want to know. I did not attend the lawsuit in federal court in Johnstown because that's 120 miles round trip, and I didn't have the money for the gas. I'm also 68 years old, and these are the big boys. I'm an ant in the hill, okay? These are the big boys. I'm smart enough to know that eminent domain, there's no way I was going to win it. No way. So why waste my time? Why waste my money? I also have not hired an attorney at $2,000 an hour. If I didn't have money for the gas to go 120 miles, I didn't have money to hire an attorney either. But I have talked to 3 of them. 3 of them, they want the case, obviously, but Mary Ellen's not interested yet. Okay, I needed paperwork. Mary Ellen is paperwork. You have to have it in black and white. in order to prove any damn thing that you say. I have it in black and white, everything I say. I even have it from the DEP from the state of Pennsylvania in black and white, okay? I'm ready. This is an ad. If there's an attorney out there who by the law dictionary calls himself pro bono, that's the guy I want. I don't want any sucker out there that's going to sell me pro bono with a 50% interest on whatever I get out of the lawsuit. I want pro bono. If there's anybody out there with the ability to handle a case like mine, give me a call. Okay, there's one other little doozy, I thought was a doozy since I'm just a high school graduate here, is that on March the 18th, again in Johnstown Federal Court, Columbia Gas had a teleconference with the same judge who ruled on the eminent domain. Mary Ellen was never notified, ever. This was a teleconference at 10 o'clock on March the 18th between Columbia Gas and Judge Kim R. Gibson. I was never told that there was going to be a hearing, ever. Okay, the hearing was held at 10 o'clock. At roughly 12 o'clock, I called the Johnstown court, and I was told by Judge Gibson's secretary that yes, in fact, the teleconference was held, but I wasn't invited. The teleconference was held, and it was decided that since I was not interested in going to court with Columbia Gas in July of 2010, they just decided that I wasn't interested in defending myself. So they did not notify me. Well, hey, they didn't notify me about this one. How many others did they hold that they did not notify me about? Hey, I'm a little curious here. Okay, next thing I get in the mail from Judge Gibson's office is that there will, in fact, a rescheduled teleconference will be held on April the 8th. Okay? I'm notified of this one. What happened to the notification for the last one? Okay, then what I get in the mail is from Columbia Gas that they're requesting a return of the bond that they had placed for doing any damage to the property. Okay, then the next thing I receive in the mail is that the teleconference for April the 8th has been canceled. Oh, well, Jesus. Like, you know, light bulb moment, Mary Ellen. Now I sit there and I have absolutely nothing. I'm assuming that Columbia Gas will come in and tell me what they're going to do with the piece of property, as well as the pieces of property around me. My piece of property, I'll get a little personal here at the moment. When we bought the piece of property in 1976, my husband and I knew, he was 20 years older than I, and we knew that it was going to be Mary Ellen's inheritance. And he asked me if I wanted it, and I said yes. We had horses at the time. We had 10 horses. And horses was what put us together. We were going to retire there and die there. The decision had to be altered somewhat because in 1981, I quit my job with the federal government. My husband was already retired. I quit my job with the federal government, and we moved to Pennsylvania with 2 people in hospital beds. My mother and father We moved my mom and dad. We built onto the original old farmhouse. We renovated the old, and we added on enough room to bring my mother and father. I gave up a career that I loved to become a caregiver, and I was married to the greatest guy on earth because he helped me do that. My mother died of cancer. My father lived 8 more years. He had Lou Gehrig's disease and he was a diabetic and a paraplegic. My father died in 87. In 89, my husband burned himself with third-degree burns on his face and his hands. The year after that, they found prostate cancer, and he started chemo treatments and radiation, and he died 1999 on Mother's Day. He's the greatest guy on earth. Columbia Gas, these vultures, bullies, big boys, should not be allowed to do this to anyone. They're destroying the planet. They have obviously destroyed the piece of property that I love very much. I'm definitely probably going to die there, but I don't want any help from anybody. Least of all a gas and oil company. I want the free choice, deciding between God and I exactly how I want to die. But I do want to die on this farm. Columbia Gas, I'm doing all of this for a very small, selfish reason, but for the greatest reason that they should not do this. It's not just me. I'm just the face on the poster. I'm just the poster child. But they're doing this to hundreds and thousands of us. And the politicians aren't helping us, okay? One of my favorite politicians is Uncle Tom Corbett, who does not want to tax these gas and oil companies for what they're doing. I don't know where Tom's head is, but I think it's up somewhere. Okay. The next favorite politician is Bill Schuster. Okay. Brother Bill tells us that all this gas and oil issue should stay at the state level. Well, I'm sorry, Bill. I seem to recall that this lawsuit that I received was in federal court. So let's keep it at the federal level, boys. Another one is Bob Casey. I don't know what he's sniffing, but there's more than radioactive material in that water, boy. Okay? There are 55 chemicals that have been publicly listed that are being used by the gas and oil companies. There's also a hidden little list that are privacy issues, proprietary to the company, and those chemicals are not public. I don't know. I'm sure that there are probably other politicians out there that don't have their head up in the air and, who are going to pick up on the plight of the people who put them in the job. I have gotten nothing. The property owners around me got paid $7 an acre. They signed a seismic permit, they signed leases, they got $7 an acre. I did not sign, and I have gotten nothing. Since 2008, I have been paid $0 for this piece of property. Columbia Gas, there was recently an article in Columbia Gas, okay? And this was in the Johnstown Tribune Review, And it states that Columbia Gas leaks per mile